Mosasaurus. Forget everything you think a sea monster looks like. Mosasaurus wasn't mythological. It was worse because it was real. It was enormous, and it ate sharks for the same reason you eat crackers. Because they were there. Mosasaurus dominated the late Cretaceous ocean as apex predator at a length exceeding 50 feet, with a double-hinged jaw that could swallow prey whole or in sections, whichever was more convenient. It didn't hunt at the surface. It ambushed from depth, rising fast, hitting hard, and disappearing before anything registered what happened. The ocean had a megalodon-shaped hole in its history, and Mosasaurus filled it for 70 million years before Megalodon was even a concept. But the sea always stays in the sea. On land, something far older was already running the margins. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Just the name sounds like a verdict, not a creature, a consequence. In every ecosystem it occupied, T-Rex wasn't the fastest or the most agile. It was the one everything else was already running from. 6 tons of muscle and bone, a bite force stronger than any land animal ever measured, and arms so short they became the internet's favorite joke. Except those arms had the grip strength of a steel vise. The joke was always on the prey. Its vision was sharper than a hawk's, its smell better than a bloodhound's, and its intelligence higher than its reputation suggests. T-Rex didn't just hunt, it remembered terrain, tracked patterns, and waited. The real horror wasn't the size, it was the patience. But patience has a cousin, and that cousin hunts bigger. Giganotosaurus, bigger than T-Rex, faster than T-Rex, and somehow less famous, which is the most dangerous kind of predator, the one nobody takes seriously. Giganotosaurus roamed South America when titanosaurs, the largest land animals to ever exist, were considered safe simply because of their size. They were wrong. This predator didn't need to match strength. It hunted in coordinated pursuit, slashing and retreating, bleeding prey into collapse over distance. It wasn't built for a single kill. It was built for inevitability. Its brain was smaller than T-Rex's, which means it wasn't thinking about you. It was just moving toward you. And yet, even Giganotosaurus had a rival it never met, one that didn't need dry land at all. Spinosaurus. For decades, science thought it knew what Spinosaurus was: a giant, a biped, a land predator wearing a sail like an accessory. Then new fossils rewrote everything. Spinosaurus was semi-aquatic, dense bones for diving, nostrils positioned high, short rear legs built for paddling, not sprinting. It was longer than T-Rex, heavier than Giganotosaurus, and comfortable in a river the way most predators are comfortable only on solid ground. It didn't pick a territory. It controlled a transition zone, the place where land animals came to drink, and water animals thought they were safe. Nothing was safe. The sail on its back wasn't for intimidation. Scientists believe it regulated temperature, which means even the part of it that looked threatening was just practical. The real danger was everything else. But rivers eventually reached the sea, and the sea had already made its own version of this nightmare. Megalodon, half shark, half natural disaster, and 100% proof that the ocean has always hated you. This wasn't just the biggest predator that ever lived. It was the ocean's way of setting a size limit that nothing else was allowed to cross. One rule governed everything Megalodon did. If it fit in the water, it fit in the menu. Its jaws stretched wider than a doorframe, its teeth the size of a human hand, serrated, fossilized, and still sharp enough to make paleontologists nervous holding them. It didn't chase prey. It ambushed from below, targeting the spine, disabling first, feeding second. No panic, no fury, just geometry and pressure. And here's what most people miss. Megalodon didn't go extinct because something beat it. The ocean cooled. Its food moved. It starved at the top of the food chain, which means the most powerful predator in Earth's history wasn't defeated. It was simply abandoned by its own world. But if the sea had its tyrant, the land had its own. Allosaurus. Before T-Rex, before Giganotosaurus, Allosaurus was already perfecting the formula. And the formula was brutally simple. Don't overpower, outmaneuver. Allosaurus was lighter and faster than the giants that came after it, with a skull designed to absorb impact rather than generate it. It struck downward with its upper jaw like a hatchet, weakening prey rather than crushing it. It hunted Brachiosaurus, animals 4 times its size, not because it was reckless, but because it had a system. Fossil evidence suggests it hunted in loose groups, not packs, opportunists moving in after the first wound was opened. The real terror of Allosaurus was that it treated the Jurassic the way a contractor treats a project, methodically, without drama. Then the rivers produced something that made even Allosaurus look small. Deinosuchus. It looked like a crocodile. It was not a crocodile. Deinosuchus was what happens when a crocodile runs out of reasons to stay small. 35 feet long, with a skull the size of a car hood, and a bite force that paleontologists describe using words typically reserved for industrial machinery. It didn't live in rivers. It owned them. Dinosaurs came to the water's edge. They didn't always leave. Deinosuchus didn't chase, didn't stalk, didn't strategize. It simply existed in the one place everything else needed to be, and that was enough. Patience isn't a strategy when you're Deinosuchus, it's an identity. But not every predator relies on waiting. Some carry the weapon inside them. Smilodon. After all the scale, the tonnage, the bone-crushing arithmetic of everything before it, the wizarding world of prehistoric predators leaves us with this. A cat, except not a cat. Smilodon was roughly the size of a modern lion, which sounds manageable until you see the canines. 11 inches, not for slashing, for precision. Smilodon targeted the throat with surgical accuracy, using its prey's own panic against it, holding, waiting, letting biology do the rest. It wasn't the biggest. It wasn't the fastest. Fossil evidence shows healed injuries suggesting Smilodon cared for its wounded, a social predator, intelligent, coordinated, and operating in a world full of megafauna that dwarfed it, and it thrived anyway, because raw power was never the point. The most dangerous predator in any era isn't the one that's biggest, it's the one that figured out it didn't need to be. Every predator on this list killed with size, speed, or ambush. Smilodon killed with understanding. And that never goes extinct.